Hi, Mystery Recapped here. Today, I am going to explain a comedy sci-fi film called The World Sinks, Except Japan. Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. Two Japanese men, Goto and Koga, are in a bar after a long day at work. They make fun of an American performer singing in a horrible Japanese accent. Recently, Japan has been flooded with foreigners from around the world moving into the country. The President of America is sitting beside the two in the bar. Hearing them make fun of his people, the politician interrupts their conversation. He claims that Japanese people should be patient with the American immigrants because they are trying their best to learn the language. Goto disagrees because language is not the only issue. He claims that America has the highest crime rate in the world. Humiliated by the civilians, the president insults the entire country of Japan, but stops when the president of Japan arrives at the club. It turns out that all the presidents and higher officials of the world are in this club. A flashback shows us Goto with his American wife, Catherine. The two are a happy couple and living in Tokyo. Goto narrates that this night, when he was enjoying his time with his wife, was a horrible one for the rest of the world. The movement of the tectonic plates under the earth caused massive earthquakes and tsunamis. At first, the entire continent of America sank underwater, and only the rich managed to escape, drowning in the ocean. In a Japanese broadcasting company, the news spreads like wildfire, making everyone panic. The President of America presents his final statement on the matter through a live broadcast on a plane. He asks the citizens to keep calm because the neighboring nations will help them in time of need. As he talks, a half-dressed woman serves him a drink, but the president seems to ignore that. While the country is sinking, he sings a song about America being the greatest nation in the world. The Japanese officials watch the live show in awe. They also find out that he is heading to a base in Okinawa, Japan. They are ready to take in American refugees as a gesture of friendship. Goto also works in the same office and is arguing with his wife on the phone. She wants to return to America because she is worried about her family in Texas. Little does she know, the massive land that was once Texas is now under the ocean. At the House of Parliament, Professor Tadokoro tells the president about a mantle plume under the surface of the earth that still has energy and is ready to erupt. He begins explaining everything about the mantle, but doesn't get to the point. When the president asks him what is going to happen next, he falls asleep and has to be woken up. After a long chat, he is about to reveal the conclusion, but at the same time, their meeting is interrupted. Somewhere else, Oscar-winning actor Jerry Cruising and his actress girlfriend, Elizabeth, land in Japan. Although their entire country has drowned, they seem to be excited about their new life. Jerry believes that since he is world famous, the Japanese film industry will offer him millions to be in their movie. Elizabeth is just as excited, so much so that she can't help but call Japanese people racial slurs. They are interviewed by the reporters about the situation in America before they left. Jerry pretends to be sad, but swiftly changes the subject to his Oscar. Koga is one of the reporters interviewing them. He asks Jerry to be in a Japanese drama his broadcasting company is shooting next month. The actor happily agrees to be in the show. In the following scene, Goto returns home to Catherine, who is worried about her family in America. He assures her they are okay, since millions of people have fled to different parts of Asia and Europe as refugees. Meanwhile, Koga also reaches home to his wife. They have dinner together while talking about the price of food skyrocketing after imports from the US ended. Koga excitedly tells her about his meeting with Jerry. They assume that because of the actors, Japanese cinema will be as successful as Hollywood. For the first few weeks, Americans are welcomed to Japan wholeheartedly. People donate to American refugee charities and aid them as much as possible. One day, a man holding bowls of Chinese noodles falls off a bicycle. As the dish drops into a ditch, the entire nation of China sinks under the ocean. Similarly, a woman drops a baguette in the ditch, causing France and the entirety of Europe to sink. Eventually, all countries sink underwater, leaving Japan as the only landmass on Earth. Almost 90% of the population of Earth die because of the impact. In addition, the population of Japan increases at an exponential rate. It is now a few years later, after Japan became the sole country in the world. The Americans living in Japan have gone completely broke. Famous American actors do tricks for Japanese businessmen for money. The Korean and Chinese presidents turn into minions of the Japanese president, so he would allow their refugees more freedom. Somewhere else, the professor tells his students that the tectonic plates still have some energy left, which is very soon going to do something big. As usual, he explains all the unnecessary details passionately, but forgets to get to the conclusion. Instead, he dances away from the class, leaving his students wondering. One day, on his way to work, Goto realizes that his country has more foreigners than its own people. He is on a train with hundreds of people and not one Japanese person in sight. He tries to move around the crowded place and locks eyes with a Japanese man. Both of them look at each other knowingly, but can do nothing about the situation. In addition, the Japanese yen becomes the strongest currency, making any other currency in the world worth pennies. As the prices of food hike, the refugees resort to begging, stealing, and looting. Jerry stars in a high-budget Japanese movie. People had thought that the rise in American population would make the movie a hit, but they soon realize that the target audience cannot even afford a TV. Jerry loses his job, along with Elizabeth. They hand their landlord bundles of US dollars, but because of inflation, it is still not enough. Eventually, the once Oscar-winning actors go homeless. In the meantime, the Japanese grow richer in comparison to most of the population. Koga and his wife are shown eating different delicacies like whale and tiger meat. His wife informs him that she is pregnant. The couple is overjoyed by the good news, mostly because the birth of the child will bring one more Japanese into the country. The following day, on his way to work, Koga sees Elizabeth and takes her out for lunch. She appears to be starving as she devours her food and eats from his plate as well. The actress complains about not getting any jobs and going homeless. To make her feel better, Koga claims that he will find her a job, no matter what. However, he knows that no director wants to cast Americans in their movies after the disaster with Jerry's last film. Somewhere else, the professor is enjoying his time with foreign women who have agreed to be his mistresses for money. One of his students is waiting for him to explain the functioning of the tectonic plates. As the man flirts with the women, the professor explains his theory using sexual examples, but stops before coming to a conclusion yet again. When asked about his wife, he gets mad and chases the student away. Meanwhile, Elizabeth also turns into a prostitute to earn money. She charges extra money because of her status, but men do not mind paying. However, her relationship with Jerry deteriorates because of her new profession. Goto's wife, Catherine, is furious at the Japanese government for not providing her people with proper facilities. Since Goto doesn't care about the foreign policies, she gets mad at him as well. On top of that, he suggests they hire foreign maids, since they are affordable and make you look rich. Catherine is strictly against the idea, but Goto plans to do it nonetheless. The actor, Jerry, on the other hand, is living in the streets with the other refugees. When Elizabeth returns home late from work, he asks her where she was. She bluntly claims that she was with a customer. She even suggests he join the business, asking him to be more productive, since he does nothing all day. They get into a massive argument, during which Elizabeth breaks his Oscar award that he loved more than his life. The two break up after the fight. When the crime rate increases, the president of Japan appoints the defense general as the head of an anti-refugee organization. Several soldiers are then sent out to look for illegal refugees and leave them in the middle of the ocean in the name of deporting them. Those who do not follow the law or adjust to Japan's way of living will also be deported. The main aim of the government is to throw out as many foreigners as possible, so they will not consider rechecking the documents, even if a person is falsely reported to be an illegal immigrant. The presidents of the other nations know this, hence they try to stop the bill. But the Japanese president is adamant about his decision. He even makes the other presidents dance to a kid's song about Japan's greatness. Soon, several illegal immigrants are caught. They start to complain against each other after the government offers rice cakes to those who inform them of the illegal people. Several innocent and legal ones are also deported because of the rule. Jerry has started to work for a brothel for money. One day, Catherine sees him on the sidewalk and recognizes him as her childhood celebrity crush. At first, Jerry thinks she is making fun of him like everyone else. After he finds out that she is genuinely happy to see him, he opens up to her about his situation. The policemen find it suspicious and ask Catherine for identification. When they see she is a Japanese man's wife, they let her go. Catherine hands Jerry the groceries she had just bought when he says he has nothing to eat. When Goto returns home that day, he is welcomed by his foreign maids. They help him change into pajamas and even go to the bathroom with him in case he needs something. Since Catherine didn't shop for tonight's dinner, they couldn't cook anything. A furious Goto asks his wife why she didn't buy food like she was supposed to. The couple gets into an argument which escalates when Goto slaps Catherine. She storms out of the house, saying that she is leaving him. The following day, Goto happens to see her on his way to work. She is arguing with the deportation police, who are trying to take Jerry away. Goto interferes and asks her why she is trying to save a stranger. Catherine then admits that she is in love with Jerry and wants to go with him, even if it means ending up in the ocean. Her husband is shocked, but he can do nothing to change her mind. In a bar, the presidents of China and Korea are dancing to entertain the president of Japan. They have completely given up on fighting for equal rights for their people. Instead, they now dance for the president in hopes that he will provide them with food and shelter. The waiters of the bar seem to be planning something in secret as they hand each other parcels. One of them brings out a gun from a flush tank that they have smuggled. They take the weapons to the president's cabin and hold them hostage. Soon, they take over the entire bar and hold everyone at gunpoint. Koga and Goto, who were there to get a drink, are shocked. The waiters then reveal that they are actually the North Korean leader and his soldiers who plan to rule Japan. The Japanese president says that their defense general is not going to let that happen, since their military is bigger than North Korea's. Meanwhile, however, the defense general is also held hostage by North Korean spies. Seeing that he is about to die, he detonates an explosive, blowing up the entire building. Back at the club, the dictator is celebrating his victory when Professor Tadokoro appears, riding on a kid's tricycle out of nowhere. He tells them about the tectonic plates yet again. However, this time, he completes his sentence and reveals that in only a few minutes, Japan is also going to sink under the sea, ending the existence of mankind. Right after he finishes, a massive earthquake hits. Everyone falls to the ground and starts praying for their lives. People fight with each other for no reason, since everyone is going to die anyway. Suddenly, the lights go off. The people in the club come together to light a candle and gather around it. In the background, it is narrated that at least in that last moment, world peace exists. Soon, another earthquake hits, which makes the land of Japan sink under the ocean. At last, no humans are left on Earth. This is kind of nice. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.